Welcome again back to the 17th of January 2021 at Wickerson Studios. This is my favorite lucky number 13 script. I've written a gorgeous trigonometric function node that's enumerated through a series of beautiful functions. And I just want to encourage people to sign up and get involved in my Patreon. I have a few people that I'm feeding as many scripts as I can. I'm not compiling them anymore. I'm leaving them open to be played with and manipulated them. And if you're interested in them, then please go right ahead. You can see here, we've got a pretty wild form that if I took it to visibility and got rid of it, popped it onto what's actually happening through curves, pipes, surfaces, meshes, and surfaces. All of my nodes are about producing point clusters and how they can be managed and manufactured and changed. And you'll see within here, not only am I enumerating through all of the awesome math functions from sine all the way through to degrees and ratios and relationships with everything in between, you can kind of pop it through there and see how this trigonometry changes drastically as what you're changing. And those are mathematically beautifully rendered as to what might actually happen. So if this is something you're interested in, please take a look at Michael Wickerson on Patreon and think of joining. If so, then all these files and all the master file, that's really the latest one that I've shared with people, very excited to do that, is all of these nodes come up from curves, data, maths, meshes, panels, points, surfaces, and tests. Now, most of these do generate points. They're all available to you to see how they're done, not only how they're constructed from a test script, but how they're actually then applied and how to actually put them into your own plugins. So if you customize and change any of them, you may want to go in and then put your own logo within them. So if I jumble up this screen like mad and take this and put it to enable, you're going to see this whole screen explodes into quite a bit of chaos, because that's why this math is so wonderful to look at. You can see within here this incredible infrastructure of spaces and architectures and everything created in between. I'll take it over to, let's see, artistic mode, and just have a look at it. It's hard to understand, but of all the lofts and everything that I've generated, it's produced this kind of strange geometry. And maybe if I took it out of artistic and just left it unshaded, it'd be kind of hard to see. You'd want to take it to print. But within here is this crazy constellation of this beautiful pavilion, and it's made from multiple 20 algorithms that actually generate this beautiful geometry, and it behaves the way it does. If you want to go into it, you'll find that I focus very clearly on populating basically a crosshairs function as a test into a hello point, which generates points, following through into a range item, which basically produces I believe just a point generation, but things get complex very quickly. 2D grids are generated, conditional lifts are generated, conditional staggereds are generated. I throw in some of my C nodes that I generated earlier because I have tons of those available for playing with and working with. But this is the series that I'm going with. And what's really exciting is I'm hitting a level of data tree access and going in and scripting not only in lists, but I'm actually going in and taking all the hard code of the files that interest me. This is a Ripley curve. We go into here, we have a Ripley mesh. This one I actually compiled, and I don't have access to the script anymore, so I can't actually see it. But that's not what I'm sharing with people. What I'm sharing with people who are interested in the Patreon is the uncompiled files that you can go in and see the script through and through of what's driving those geometries. So this one would be producing meshes. I can tell by where I take the data. This one, even though I have some post-node scripts for the trig surface, it's going to be your basic cosine sine script, and see how that goes. This one's very nice on dealing with, I wonder why I don't have it up there. Well, it would be good if I just grab my Python tool and my plugins, and that should pop up. If I pull those in, should pull up all my scripts as to what they are. This one's labeled trigonometric function. That's the one that I was showing initially. All the possibilities of working the pipe, the mesh, the curves, and then and the surfaces. The next one is a probability mesh from points, which produces best points and meshes. And I'm just kind of guessing at where they're best suited to actually facilitate things. So I've got a lot of W's, probably because my last name's Wickerson. And here we go. We've got a primitive curve attractors, which is a very specific function for lofting and doing some interesting things with geometries. And then I'm ending with a series of dealing with lists, mesh curves, closest points on curves, geometry on intersections. And I did run into some problems with compiling, and it was changing the scripts. So I think it's best to just leave the scripts available to you. Panel shifting surface, and then I ended up with a paneling pattern that really is infinite. Anywhere you see number within a script, like if you go into here and you actually see numbers within a script, you ought to consider changing those numbers to what I refer to as different probabilities if I want you to stay between 0 and 1, and numbers if I want you to keep to integers, and then floats can change between that. So 20 nice scripts to start that'll get you jazzed up and going and having fun, building your geometries and building your algorithms, dealing in meshes and surfaces in a way that you maybe never fathomed before to build in CAD programming. And I'm hoping to get more people interested. And I'm spending an awful lot of time on this. I am feeding a few people as fast as I can make these. And like I said, I'm going to be on the tree access and tree data programming, which is going to really allow an immense amount of control because of these point clouds and what's coming out. Thanks. I hope that makes sense to a few of you. And please sign up for the Patreon and join and see where we can go together. Thank you.